your fellow members of the Friends of Lake Taupo will be quite pleased to probably be watching you on webcam. So that's all good. I'm going to open it up to my fellow councillors for questions of clarity, and I'll start over here with Councillor Kurt.
Hi Johnny, thank you very much for your presentation. I just wondered, have Friends of Lake Taupo had any discussions with local iwi?
Yes.
And how have they proceeded?
All the hapu are very supportive of us.
Right.
Okay, we've got half a dozen of them members. We've tried to have conversations with the TMTB. That hasn't been as successful. Right. But the iwi are very supportive. All the way around the lake, from Whareroa, Kuratau, Amori, Turangi-Tongariro. We've talked to them all, and we will be talking more with them.
Great, because they are a major
absolutely
this whole mitigation.
Very aware of them.
Yes. Great, thank you.
Councillor Williams.
Thanks, Johnny. Just that throughout your presentation, you've alluded to the natural levels of the lake.
Yes.
In the interest of clarity, can you please give us a definition of what
okay,
you mean by natural?
The natural levels of the lake is the lake level that would have occurred without the control gates in place, without any of the diversions from the Tongariro entering the lake. And so it's basically with the natural discharge at the entrance to the Waikato and all of the natural inflows from the rivers and streams around the... And the model to calculate that was developed and prepared by the old Ministry of Works many years ago.
So what was that pre-1940? Was that? Or?
Well, pre-1940 it was just what happened because there were no controls in pre-1940. Post-1940 they then took out the effects of the lake, because it's very easy to calculate what the flow rate would be from the lake given the water level, because they knew what the channel was at the time. They then enlarged the channel significantly. So I think instead of being a maximum discharge of 200 cubic metres a second, and Gavin will be able to clarify this for me in a sec, I think the maximum was 200 cubic metres a second that it could flow at. It's now up just over 300 cubic metres a second. So if you assume that the maximum level is only 200, you can easily work out what the natural would be, given all of the rainfall that happens.
So in the interests of this, the flood and erosion strategy, you consider that there is factual basis for setting a natural limit on the lake for comparison purposes?
Yes, very easy to do. Mighty River Power have given me the data. I could tell you on any given day, as could they, between the beginning of the Second World War and today, what the natural level would have been at.
Councillor Crate.
Thanks, Tony. Following on from Councillor Kirk's question, to resolve this situation, which seems to be ongoing, who are the stakeholders that you feel should sit around the table to resolve this situation?
Mighty River Power, obviously. Taupo District Council as the representatives of the communities around the lake. The iwi definitely, and I'll leave the District Council to work out whether it's the hapu themselves or TMTB. There is a slight conflict there because the way the Lake Taupo boundaries are set up, if there is erosion, Tū Whareroa's property, which is the lake, actually increases in size. So that's a little issue, whereas the local hapu's property decreases in size.
Yeah.
So that's, we would happily sit round as well.
FLT, yeah.
Yep. The regional council, obviously, because they're the regulator, and also they are a very interested body because they're a key part of they're a key consent holder because of this flood attenuation issue, which at the moment is silent.
Thanks.
Councillor Johnson?
You've indicated to us that Mighty River Power are happy to be involved. We're happy. Where's the stumbling block? Who's stopping the doing? As you pointed out.
I'll leave that between you and them. I don't know. In my opinion, I'd say it's equally shared, actually. I know that, I met with Rob and Gavin at Easter, I think it was, or about then, and we had discussions at that time. I don't know if, I don't want to drive up from Wellington every time that there's a meeting when, you guys have got to walk 400 metres. So I'd like to hope that those meetings have progressed. I sat with the regional council 6 months ago and said at the time that, in my opinion, the system wasn't working. And it's not my role to make it work, but I'll happily do it if I'm paid. But at the moment, for me to drive up, once or twice a week is not, I'd lay the blame equally.
Councillor Henderson?
My question, Johnny, relates to Project Watershed and as a means of potentially mitigating some of the effects of erosion.
Yes.
Is it working? Can it work? Do we need to make changes? If so, what? And is it the right model?
I think there's two things. One, I think it's too wide at the moment to actually affect the, because it goes from, the coast to the mountains for erosion control. The other key issue that we see with it is that it was actually written before the consents were written. So I'm not sure that it's been updated to do that. The other issue is that under that mechanism, Mighty River Power pays 5%, I think it is, of the funding for Project Watershed. And we'd like, in situations like Kuratau, you've just seen what proportion that is of the value of the works required. So in that respect, no, it's not working. Because it doesn't have the ability to police.
Anything further from any councillors? Johnny, I've got if I could ask a question, please. So you came and you presented here today to council for a purpose.
Yes.
So, and you came on behalf of Friends of Lake Taupo.
Yes.
Which was set up basically on a similar model to Manapuri.
Yes.
Was it called Save Manapuri or Friends of Lake Manapuri? It was called
Save Manapuri, I think.
Save Manapuri, I think it was, in the archives in my brain somewhere.
Yes.
So what was the purpose, the actual bottom line purpose of you coming and presenting to council today? What do you want of us?
We want you to support us and us to support you in the potential review process that the regional council, we would like to think, will undertake to review the consents for the lake. Okay, the aim for us is that we would like those consents to be reviewed so that we can control the erosion on the lake.
And if they weren't to do it, what do you think would happen?
Watch this space, I think, Rick. We're not going to sit down and say, oh, well, that's it then. There are a whole lot of legal avenues are available. If the regional council chose to go that way, then we would have to look at, it doesn't stop just because someone in the regional council makes a decision that we don't need to review the consents.
And if you don't mind, sort of a final one, do Friends of Lake Taupo fully realise what abilities and tools that your council that you're here with today has in its toolbox?
Yes, we're aware of, the restraints that you may have in that respect.
Okay. Any further questions, councillors? Well, firstly, Johnny, on behalf of my fellow councillors and people watching on VidCam and the audience here today, I'd really like to thank you because I guess at the end of the day, you're probably the only person here that's not getting paid to be here, and you're here because you care. And I would like to suggest that there's a resolution on item number 1, that the information be received and that Friends of Lake Taupo representatives be thanked for their presentation. Will I have a mover, please? Councillor Kirk, and a seconder anywhere? Councillor Johnson. All those in favour? Aye. Thank you very much, Johnny, and of course you're more than welcome to stay and...
I'll be interested in the rebuttal that comes from behind me.